All right. Okay, I'm repeating it again. So far we covered how to convert a binary into decimal, decimal to binary. You all answered me that octet size is 8. So we have 4 octets, and also we have a subnet mask, which is represented by a number like this. And in a brief moment, I will explain you how we have derived with them, how we have come up with slash 24. So don't worry about this 24 for now, but remember the fact there are 4 octets, right? And each octet has 8 bits. Okay. So how many total bits? Each octet is 32, right? 32 bits. So keep in that mind. For the rest of the class, you need to be calculating the back of the head. Octet is 8. There are 4 octets. Okay. So before I introduce you to the networking part and the host part, I need to explain you. I want to give you some kind of diagrammatic representation. Right? So let us say there is a huge apartment complex. Let us say there is a huge apartment complex. Okay. So this is your leasing office at the entrance. We have a leasing office at the entrance. Okay. Leasing office. And then you have several buildings inside your apartment complex. And building has separate units. Okay. So there's only one unit because leasing office doesn't have units, right? Leasing office itself is one big unit. So how do we usually represent postal addressing? So IP addressing system is not that much different postal addressing. You guys following me, right? So do you have running notes? Yeah. So for example, let's say 1 BBA Street, Nashua 03062, something like that. Okay. What is the 1 represent here? The building number, right? So Riviera Street, Nashua represent the actual address, the actual location. So this is all same for everybody who is in that street. Correct? The only thing that different is building number, but not for this guy. Let us say their building number is 2, 3, and 4, and then they have unit in between. So let's say this unit starts at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that, and then continues 16, 17, 18, 19. You know what? I'll make it very easy. This will be confusing. Let us say within unit, everybody is in chronological order. I don't want to confuse you. It will make it complex. So let us assume that this guy is 1, 2, 3 again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, you know what? Again, they're all independent. So they all start from 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the leasing office building number, there is no unit number, but somehow you want to send a mail to this unit number 4. But the 4 is in this unit, and this unit. And there are like 2 or 3 other apartment complexes on the same street. Okay. So you have to be very specific, right? So 2 Riviera Street. Okay. Why this is 2 Riviera Street? Because that's the building number on the Riviera Street. Apartment. You're telling it's an apartment. Third, 4. And everything else follows, right? Nashua, Yeah, sure. Blah blah blah. What about this guy? Number 3. So you have to mention 3, Raghuveer Street. Okay, apartment 3, something like that. Okay. So watch me do this. You see how I'm highlighting certain portions? So those portions are nothing but your actual residence numbers. Okay. Imagine this as host address. Okay. That's your host address. What's the network address? Everything else is your network address. Okay. Everything else is your network address. You guys following? So what's the host address here? The actual apartment unit number. Okay. What's the network address? Everything else. So let me pick an example network. Okay. So I'm picking 192.168.1.0. So that's a network address. That's a network address. Okay. Every network address will come with a subnet mask like /24 or /31 or /16/17. This part we will learn later, okay? At the end of this discussion. So what you need to understand is there any apartment unit that starts with 0? No. All of them has a unique number and it starts with 1. So anytime you see something like that, that's a network address. It's not a host address. You guys following, right? So the host address will look like this, okay? So let me do this again. 192.168.1.2. So everything that's in blue is now this is host. Everything that is in blue is network. Right? I think I confused you guys. So no, I did not. Yeah, the color combination I confused, right? So this is network address, okay? You're confused with the color combination. So just see the color is different. So I just want to make sure which one is. So this is your network address. Before you get to the host number, you need to match the network address portion, okay? You guys following me? Before you go to the host, you need to match the network address. So host address is unique to this particular host. You guys following, right? During the first session, so we can do this now. All of you go to your laptop and do IP configuration, okay? And give me the IP address, including the ones who are sitting at the home. So those who joined online, right? Tell me what's your IP config output. Sai Niriksha, tell me what's your IP address. Type it down in the. So what's your IP address? 30 is enough. How many of you share the same network? The first 3 options, how many of you do? 192.168.2. Okay. What is your answer? 192.168.202. Huh? What's your last option? 1? No, that's your gate. You're looking at gate. Okay. How many of you are in the same network? Okay, what's your network? What's your network? Yeah, 192. That's yours. So next guy wants your address. Can you check and tell me? Why are you guys looking in the other lab? Yeah, what's your address? Okay, so there is another network, 192.168.201. 93.3. Okay, guys, can you be a little faster? I'm just trying to find the network. So who else has this network address? 192.168.202. Raise your hand. It can't be like only one guy. All of you have network address. So how many of you 192.168.192? You have, what's your network address? This is your network address. 192.168.202. So no one is in this network? Okay. So what is your network address? Okay. 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 So who else is in 20213? Who else? Yeah. What is your post address? Can you tell me your post address? 23. Yeah. All right. So who else are in any of these three networks? There are three networks. So what's your network? Okay. So his network address is same 233. All right. So look at here. Let us call the top network as network A. Okay. Let us call it as network B. Okay. Let us call it as network C. So can you guys tell me the gateway? Someone, it will be dot one. Okay. Let us assume. So the gateway for this guy will be 192.168. No, for this one. So for this one, it will be one gateway dot one. Okay. 192.168.192.1. So this is gateway. Okay, guys. So this is gateway. And the gateway for this guy will be dot one. So this is gateway. All right. So the gateway is nothing but your leasing office. You see how it starts with one? It's the first IP address, first network address, first host in the every network. Okay. So you all belong to this network. Somebody else belong to this network. Somebody else belong to this network. So I'm going to ask you a question. See, everything that is a network address, I represented it in blue color. Okay. Everything that is in host part, I represented it in yellow. Right? But how does the network algorithm inside your Ethernet interface part or inside your router or switch will understand that? How will it understand which color or which part is network part, which part is host part? Okay. So think of this. Think of this. How many total bits are there in the entire network? No, 32, guys. You need to understand the difference between positions, decimal, and binary. So how many binary digits are there in the entire network? 32, right? So the blue color, how many binary digits are in the blue color? If you populate the entire tree, 24. Okay. So that is what it is telling here. The subnet mask, write it down. It is called mask. Mask. So this is called IP subnetting. This is mask. So you are telling that consider 24 bits as your network. You guys following? So everything in the blue is network. How? I'm telling it slash 24. Okay. So it's saying 24 ones. You guys following? Yeah. What's your question? Oh, I did not get your question. Which node?
Will it be the same? Like for the gateway, 92.168.213.1, right?
Yeah. That's for the gateway. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the host address will it be the same as the IP address? Like the 192.168.213, right? For IP address and the gateway, the first three. For default gateway, by default, it's gateway.
No, you are to assign it.
No, it's the same for both.
For when you say
the network address. 192.168.213 is there, right? Like the address. The first gateway is 192.168.213, right? So will it be the same or will it be the different? Okay.
It has to be the same.
I got different. 192.168.20.
Yeah, because the subnet mask for the subnet is /2016. Okay, so that's little complex for you to understand. You will understand the difference by the end of the next class. We are entirely dedicating the class for DLS. So basically, why your difference is it is considering only the first objects as network address. You understood, right? I will show you how that works. In a next concept is the same, but we don't get into the full detail. Okay, we only have 20 minutes. I will explain you why the gateway is different. But understand the fact that you can also give 202 as gateway, but it will be a very bad practice. Okay, the reason why bad practice is imagine if your train engine locomotive is in the middle of the train. It's falling, right? Rather than the beginning of it. It's falling, right? You can still have train. It can get overrun by someone trying to offend. So that concept we are slowly building. So for now, I want you to imagine picture it. In the IP address, there are two sections. One is network address and the host address. You guys following, right? So how does the algorithm detect which part is the network address? So by the numbers. So why there is 24? Because we are using the first three objects as network. What if we only use the first objects as network? How many? What would be the 16? Does anyone did not understand that part? I'm pretty sure he did not understand, right? So how many? So say example, if I'm using the first object as a network, how many? What? You have to raise your hand. I know you following that. I know you not understand because I know by the faces how you submitted the assignments. So you need to pay attention because next class you have an exam. See, I'm not just thinking to him. I know 3 or 4 other people who don't have time to go to all of them. You cannot say I wanted the hard and all that. Classroom participation and then one-to-one exam will be conducted each time. It's not just multiple question and answer. It's a very simple thing, guys. It's a very simple concept, okay? Like I said, this is usually taken in the 11th and 12th grade. All you need to understand is how to convert binary to decimal binary, okay? You need to write it down. If you are not writing down, you will be thinking about something else. You will not make a connection with the blackboard. You have to take running notes. I'm not seeing someone writing it down. You're just waiting for the time to be over. Okay, that's what the box. So we are next. The next topic is IP address classification. Okay, so I'm erasing this one. So the next part will help you understand why your subnet gateway is 208.1. Maybe not the entire concept, but you will begin to understand how it works. Okay, you guys have to put this on the top of your notebook, like front page of your running notes. Okay. All right. So we all know bits, binary, zeros and ones, right? Someone. Okay, so interesting IP address. Sai Sriram, you're not responding. You're supposed to give your IP address. Okay. So look at here. Now, I have built a new network, okay? Like I built like, for example, you're building a entire world of IP networks. So A dot, B dot, C dot, D, okay? So how do you start building the network? What is the smallest number you can pick in the first octet? Okay, so does anyone's building number or apartment start with 0? Yeah, so 1. Again, whenever I'm writing 1, you need to think it as binary, okay? That's what it means. So next one. Can you start with 0? Yeah, you can. Your apartment number cannot be 0, but it can be 10, right? So that doesn't mean this is 10. I'm just giving an impression. It's preceded by 1 in the first octet. So, all right. So this is, whenever I put 0, this means how many zeros? 8. So C, it can be 0, right? The D can be 1. So that's your first ever host. So that's the first ever IP address born. What is the next one? 1, 0, 0, 2. See guys, remember which part is the network. So let me tell you, only this part is the network. Okay? Class 24. So only object that changes is the last object, right? So what's the next address? 3. Next 4. Next 5. So what's the largest number we can go? Yeah, exactly. Did you catch it? No. What's the largest 8-bit number? You have to convert it from binary to decimal. Do it on your pen. Okay. That's 255. Okay. So what happens? So we fill the bucket in this entire network. Imagine there are 4 tanks. Let us say these tanks are empty. I mean, it's not literally empty. So this tank is full. The water overflows, right? So what happens? Yeah, and for the sake of imagination, I am only taking the first 2 octets as network, okay? So this tank is full. What happens? It overflows, becomes 0, and this part becomes 1. So what happens? 1 dot 1, 1 dot 2, 1 dot 255. Again, this overflows. What it becomes to? 2 dot 0, right? Again, it goes till 255. And what it becomes? 3. See, you understood the fact, right? For this octet to change even by 1 digit, this guy has to take 255 iterations. Now, what about this octet? This octet has to reach from 0 to 1, 1 to 2. This and this. So this guy has to go till 255, but it's not easy. This guy has to go 255 times 255 for this to go 1 iteration. For this guy to change to 1 digit. So that being said, that is where the IP address schema is born. That's how the IP address schema is born. Okay. So just like, in like just like how your students are classified, class A, class B, class C, you'll be a school, in the school you have 10th class, say example in 10th grade, you have A section, B section, C section, right? The same thing they did. You come up with class A, okay, and then class B, okay, and then they have class C, okay. So basically, again, look at there, A, B, C, and D, okay. So what they did is class A, they said that any IP address that starts and ends with 126 in the first octet, they said it's class A. Okay. So any IP address from 1 to, and they said that you can only use subnet mask as class 8. That means B, C, and D are what? Host. This is host. You guys following, right? This is network. So how many networks you can have? You can have 126 networks with each subnet mask 8. But how many hosts? 8 plus 8 plus 8 forward. So that divides to how many hosts? 24 is somewhere like 10,000, something like that. So roughly 1.6 million or close to 2 million. 2 million hosts in entire class A. Okay. So class B 128 till 191. Okay, but its classification is the classification is 16. Right? So you can only have C and D. Okay, whereas the entire part is network. Okay, so how many hosts you can have? 16. This is something like something like 5,000 hosts. How many networks? 10. Right? The class C, so you can ask what happens to 127. So 127, they left it for multicasting. Okay, for device managed, for sending multicast and for scientific purposes, and there are some special reservations, some for unicast and multicasting. Yeah. So don't worry about 127. Okay, 127 entire octet is reserved for special purpose use. Let's think about that. The class C, I will come from that end. This class to be. Okay. This is 192 till 223. I might be wrong on the numbers, but just to give an estimated. How many hosts you can have? 2 power 8, right? Remember, you need to remove 2 from the final because you cannot use 0. Right? You cannot use 0, and you cannot use the last digit, which is 255, or the last, because it is used for broadcast. Okay, so don't confuse yourself why it's separated 2. So it's like the tail and head edge, we don't use it. We use anything between the head and tail. Okay, so you guys following, right? So, but how many networks here? Too many, right? Right? Too many networks here. How many hosts in the class A? Almost 2 million. So if you guys go online and search who is 19.2.2.2, right, or 19.subnet. So I'm taking a subnet. Look at here, I'm picking a network, okay? Okay. So I'm picking a network address line. Watch it carefully, okay? 19 dot. So all these 3 axes are host part. So what is the subnet mask? Yeah. We are only putting this as under the network, okay? So how many hosts in there? Almost, see? Almost. So who is 19 dot network? Go and research who purchased this network. Who owns 19 dot that entire network? So the answer will be like this: Ford Motor System. Okay, Ford Motor Company. The Ford Motor Company owns that entire network. So they use this to configure their network devices. Okay? They also use this network to configure the network devices, their servers, their dealerships, their manufacturing units, all of them. They use this 19 dot network. But there is a problem. The Ford Motor Company has roughly 80,000 full-time employees and some 20,000 contractors and dealers. So if you put all of the network equipment, their numbers, their names, their even their guest access, everything together, the total number of individual devices will be somewhere near to 800,000, not more than that, not even 800,000. So more than half of the IP address space is left useless, right? So when they have come up with this IP addressing schema, IANA is the addressing system. Okay, IANA decides that. Like, how do you get your numbers on your car or your motorcycle or your boat? The registration number is provided by DMV, right? Department of Motor Vehicles. The same way, the IP addressing for the entire IEEE IP addressing architecture is defined by IANA. So they own it. You cannot open another agency saying I will come up with your own IP addressing schema. You can, but no vendor will agree to it. So all trade unions, all vendors who provide who manufacture network equipment, they have to go by IEEE networking, IEEE numbers, IEEE RFC numbers, IEEE protocols. IANA closely works with IEEE, they ratify. You following, right? So that's the waste of IP numbers, IP address, right? So when I come with IP address, we did not assume that there will be this many network devices. Remember how many network devices, how many networking devices are there in the world? 58 billion. Remember? Because of our phones, because of our refrigerators, everything that human being use has an IP address now. Quite an IP address. So how on earth, if you look from the top to bottom, you cannot come up with that many billion IP addresses, right? It is limited. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 octets. So the solution for this is they have come up with a schema. Okay, let me erase this. You guys wrote it down, right? This is a public address. So they have come up with a schema. What is the scheme? They said that we will divide every address into public and private. Okay. What is a private address? What is a public address? Okay. So they said in each class, we will have a section called private. What you call the remaining? If you say something is private, the remaining is all public. So what is the private then? So we know that, okay, this address starts from here to here, here to here, here to here. How to identify the public IP address? One of the most popular is you all provided me the IP address. See that? You went home, you did your lab work in your lab. Where did you connect the phone? Did you connect to the video network or did you connect to your... It provided the same 192.168, right? So it is like one VVA existing. Even the zip code is same. So for example, the count on Delhi. What if they both share the same phone time? The main window. So they have come up with a intelligent way. So you can use the private address anywhere. Our entire Revere campus is private. Okay? Our entire Revere campus uses private address. But how do we know that this is not the Delhi from India, this is Delhi from India? So This person at home got the same 190.168.192. And she went to India. She also then she got the same private IP. So how does she communicate with the rest of the world, telling her I'm not the thief? So go to your CMD command prompt again and do this command. Okay, all of you go to your do this command. NS lookup. Okay, do this command NS lookup. NS lookup depth dot review dot edu. Okay. Okay. So this student you need to do NS lookup. Okay. You need to student NS lookup. Okay. So you received 141.193.213.18. Okay. So the address that came up right is from 141.213. Something like that. 220.28. Okay, just remember this address, okay? 141.213 something on those lines, right? So they said that within the class A, if you want to use a public address, private address, this is the private address in the class A. 10 dot that's the private address. Class 8. What does it mean? It means that anything that starts with 10 with 3 octets dedicated for hosts is a private address. You can't assign it as a public address. You following, right? So you go to airport in Dubai, you will find a IP address if you connect to Wi-Fi. Go to Moscow, Russia, you will have a 10 dot. Why? Because in a network, in an airport, there will be 300, 400,000 sometimes. You following, right, in the bigger international airports. So you have to come up with a host that is so big. So you can use 10 dot network. You can use 10 dot network for where? Private. So you cannot use this for public. Okay. So class B, they have come up with this. 172.16 dot x to 172.31 dot x. So the next two octets can use for host part. Okay. So if you see anything that starts with 172 and 16, 172 and 13 between that. So 172.30, 172.28, that is a private address. So you cannot use it as public address. I will explain you what you mean by you cannot use it as public. The class C is popular 192.168. This is very popular, right? This guy we use a lot, 168.1. So this is what you have at your home. This is what you have in here. Then you can ask me, so you told me this is a private, this is private, this is private. How does the public find them if they are using private at their home? Network address translation. So your service provider will translate your entire apartment host address into a public address. But public address is unique. Let me explain you. All of you will be receiving email. Sorry, all of you will be receiving postal email to OGE office. You guys following, right? They don't know where you are inside Review. So they don't send it to your classroom. They will send it to OGE office. OGE has only one address and it is very unique. Review has this public address. Is this public address? How do you know this is public address? Because it's not in this range. Because it's not in this range. Remember, this is private, private, private. So tell me which class is this public address? This one. Yeah. Because 141 dot 230. Look at the first number, 141. It false here. Okay? And also remember, you can identify the using the subject. If there is a subject mark that says class A, it is a class A. That's following, right? Remember one thing, it's very important, guys, pay attention here. You can use slash 24 for a subject or for a class here because you only want to use this name. That one. But you cannot use slash 8 for 192. Just following, right? That you cannot do it. Because why? Because if you do slash 8 and 192, it will overwrite public address in class C. You guys able to figure it, right? 192.168. If you use class 8, you are overwriting this. That means you are configuring a public IP on your interface. Don't do that. You have to be very careful about your boundaries. You guys understanding, right? You cannot accidentally configure a public IP. What happens if you accidentally configure a public IP? It will never translate into another public IP. Your network will be always down. Same way, if you configure 10 dot something as your Raghuveer website IP, it will never reach the internet. So Raghuveer will pay $10,000 let us say, because this is not free. Public IP addresses are not free. You have to pay them. Domains are not free. You have to pay them. You guys following, right? So if you go to GoDaddy.com, if you go to those service providers, the domain providers, they will around like $10, $20 you can pay for it. For a public IP like this to convert, you need to go with the service provider. What is the name of the service provider there? You see that, right? Engine Power, WPEnginepower.com. They pay them the providers a lot of money. All our IP addresses that are, see, this is not what addresses. Private. Where are they going? They are going. You're sending emails to India, you're sending emails from other place. Some of you collected WhatsApp, right? How is it reaching to the WhatsApp servers in Seattle? They are all translating into 141 address. And 141 address saying this is my source address. Okay? This is my source address. And this is from here, I am traveling to Seattle. Because this address is unique. There is nobody in the entire universe with this public address. All of your WhatsApp source address will be this guy. After they come to Raghuveer, our DNS server will translate them and they will see who is the private using physical address. Okay, MAC address is also unique, physical address. So network address translation happens. So all of you do ns lookup www.yahoo.com. Do it. www.yahoo. Okay. Right. Go to CMDB. Yeah. Type 74. Read me the IP address. Okay. 74 6 dot. Okay. Okay. So this is what address? Private or public? Public. So type this address in your browser URL. 74.6.143. No, you do ns. So not getting. Yeah, you do the ns. Yeah. You need to find the. No, you open the desktop and do that. I don't know what problem you are having. So ns lookup command is failing. So you need to just do ns lookup command on Mac. That's the Google. Okay. So type the IP address. Type the IP address on your browser. 74. Okay, what 6.143 dot? Yeah. Did it take you to Yahoo? Yeah. Did you type yahoo.com? So basically, our computers doesn't understand the word www or Yahoo or whatever. It needs to be converted into decimal and then decimal to binary, right? That is how it converts. Okay? So, for example, what you use yahoo.com, use cnn.com, you have review.com. Instead of using review.com, cnn.com, yahoo.com, you have to memorize the numbers. 74.6.143.26. That's Yahoo. 141.213.226.28. That's Revere. Can you remember? Can you memorize them? Can you market your website? Can you market your business? No. You have to come with something that you can memorize, right? Like yahoo.com, like google.com or whatever.com. And edu, there are domains. That's another different classification. So you have to come up with a divisor that can translate the IP address into a name to IP address, vice versa. So that leads to a concept called domain name server. So in a domain name server, DNS, if you don't configure your DNS properly, your email address will not resolve. Your website address will not resolve. So you need to troubleshoot DNS properly for the next lab to work properly. You guys following, right? You need to write it down. You won't remember it. So DNS is like your heartbeat. If it doesn't beat, then your blood won't circulate. So it has to be working at all time for your email server to work, your web server to work. So they all need to be configured together. Write it down. That's your troubleshooting step to do. So a lot of students come to me saying my email server is not working, my web server is not working because your DNS, you never configured your domain properly. You never associated IP address properly in your domain name server. So IP address, even if you put 213 instead of 212 or 212 instead of 213, your domain name server will keep on resolving on the wrong IP address. You're following, right? The same vice versa. If your URL address is wrong and it's DNS, if its IP address on the DNS server is different, it won't resolve. Okay? So you need to write it down. This is troubleshooting step. That is what you need to do on the running nodes. Okay? Now we will do the lab. Now we will build the DHCP server. Oh, okay. So we did not talk about DHCP and static. Okay. DHCP versus static. Okay. DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Okay. So what does it mean? Everybody walked into this class and I asked you what is your IP address. You told me all these IP addresses here. You see 192.168 and all these IP addresses. Did you statically configure them? So some server assigned it to you. That is DHCP server. It is dynamically assigning you the IP address. Okay. So how does the DHCP server works? So it works on a mechanism called. You guys wrote down all these things, right? At least write the titles. Okay. Okay. So basically, you're hungry and you're asking your mom cook some food. Okay. So you have to discover where your mom is in the kitchen or if she's outside. So you have to call your mom, right? You'll call out, I'm hungry. So it has to reach to every single room, every single corner of your property. So you have to discover where your mom is. And then you will request, right? Of course, offer. Your mom will offer your food based on whatever you request. Okay. So you can so what are you requesting? Food. So the A, they acknowledge or accept whatever it is. This process is called DORA, okay? So the moment you guys power on your machine, it sends a multicast or a broadcast messages to identify where the DHCP server is. You don't know where your mom is. Likewise, your laptop doesn't know where the DHCP server is. How does it know which way to take? DHCP server might be in that network room, might be in this network. It will send, where are you DHCP in every network? It's called broadcast, just like your radio. You can listen to radio from any room, any place, anywhere, right? Because it's a broadcast. Whereas micro, like walkie-talkie, only people in the second band can receive that, right? Same with the TV. You need to pay subscription and only use. But Dora, so Discover offer and all this, they will be sent to every corner. Okay, remember it as Dora. So that's how the DHCP works. That's the mechanism of DHCP. You can talk in detail all day. What is static? So your DHCP server is assigning IP address. Who assign IP address to DHCP server? Nobody. We have to manually configure it by giving it a statical IP address. You guys following, right? Yeah. So back in time, we don't have Wi-Fi routers. Like I'm talking about when I first started using internet, like 20 years ago. We've been using internet since my school days. So let's even go back 25 years ago. We don't have Wi-Fi routers. Okay. So we used to connect directly to modem, modulus and demodulator. And my desktop connects to the modem, same as my phone line. So it uses a digital subscriber link DSL. So one time my network doesn't come online. So basically I called the BSNL and they mentioned you need to configure this IP address statically. Then only it will able to receive a connection from the server. We've been configuring static address for ages before the Wi-Fi routers became so cheap. Okay, so Wi-Fi concept we will learn in another class. That is module 4. Okay, now let's configure DHCP server. Everybody power up your packet. So let's configure. So Sai Sriram, and Nirikshana, you need to open your packet tracer. Share screen. All right. Open your packet tracer on your laptop. So this is being recorded. All right. Okay. So look at the screen, guys. Okay. You know what? I don't have to be on the video. We'll keep on recording. So I'm not good at Zoom. I use Teams, WebEx, BlueJeans, a lot of other things. I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully my recording is only showing my screen as well. Okay. Is there anyone who is expert in Zoom? You? I'm saying new share. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. See, what I don't want to share is there are like 3 other audience. I don't want there to be recorded. You guys following, right? There are 2 other participants. So I already made myself as pin. Pinning Harsha will remove all spotlighted videos for everyone. Do you want to continue? What do you want me to do? Continue? Yeah. So I want to be in the spotlight. I don't want others to be recorded. Okay. So I will send this recording to everybody. See, I'm dragging a layer 3 device. Okay. And I am dragging a layer 2 device switch. So I will be moving a little faster, guys. You can access to this recording. You can access this recording later, but focus on the screen. So the next thing is I'm doing is I type switch and tracking a switch. Okay. So I have grabbed two devices. So basically we need a DHCP server. This lab is about DHCP server. Okay. So you'll be doing this. You'll be all implementing this. Okay. And we need end PCs. End PCs are nothing but all of you guys. So I went here and typed PC and then grabbed it. So you will have PC. Okay. So all of them are there. So let me type it here. So this is DHCP server. Okay. And what is the DHCP server IP address? I will tell you in a second. Okay. So all of you remember your network address, right? 10 dot. Read it from your notes. You wrote 10 dot, 3 dot. Okay, I will ask a number. Number, who is number 27? Raise your hand. Okay, so number 27, what's this? 10.3.27.0/24. I'm only using last octet as network portion. You can ask me, Professor, 10 dot is /8 class A. Why are you using /24 for a class A network? The reason is I don't want 1.6 million addresses for this lab. I'm picking class A private address. However, I'm only using the last octets to reserve host IPs. You guys following, right? So what will be my gateway? My gateway is 10.3.27.1. Okay. If you can't see from that far, you can log into the Teams and see, but can you see the IP addresses and all? Okay. So DHCP is the first static, okay? 10.3.27.2. That is my static address, okay? Next will be email server. We won't configure email server. That is something you do on your own after going home. 10.3.27.3. And web server. You also will be building your web server. Guys, this is very relatively easy on simulator like this, because in real world, you have to configure on a Microsoft server or a Ubuntu, or even nowadays we are using Terraform, we are using VM machines, ESX servers and all that. What you are configuring is a child's play. Remember, you have to play, you want to become an helicopter rotorcraft pilot, you can't afford rotorcraft training, so you bought a toy that flies like helicopter at home. It's a simulator. You give power, you yank the cyclic, it flies like a real helicopter and you get the feeling of flying helicopter. So this is like a toy. This is not how real world is. Real world is very complex. You need to take certification, you need to buy. So this one you're looking at, you should have, if you have an IQ of a 11-year-old, you will pass. Around 28 students with age under 7, 8 years old, they pass the CCNA exam. You following me, right? Or MCITP exam, not the CCNA, MCITP, Microsoft IT Professional exam. Okay, email server, web server. Now comes the DNS server. 10.3.27.5, okay? These are the IP address assignments. So I use the notepad here. See what is missing between them. Connections are missing between them. Okay. So I'm using a copper straight through cable. So write it down in your notes. Copper straight. This is a layer 1 physical device. We will talk about the layers in the next class. Okay. We'll talk about the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. So DHCP, guys, see, look at the switch. You guys have a wireless switch at home, right? It has a ports, yellow ports. Those are network ports. I'm connecting my PCs to the network ports. That's what I'm doing. You all know how the switch looks like if you have internet at home. You connect to the network port. Again, I'm telling you, the simulator is so easy to use. 7 years, 8-year-old use this and pass the exam with no effort. So there is no reason for you to come to me saying, I don't understand this. And the only time you don't understand this, you don't pay attention. You started 5 minutes before due date and you think you can accomplish. Time is everything. You need to start right away. Spend 5 or 10 minutes a day. I will be watching your activity on Canvas, how many of you doing lab. So keep on uploading your status on the lab. Okay, project status too. The final grading will be done after it is due. You following, right? So every 2 days you need to upload your current status. If you never uploaded your current status until like 1 or 5 hours before, you are either copying from someone or you're doing in the last minute. So I know who is plagiarizing, who is copying. It's a very easy, like again said, all you need to have like, okay, so this switch has very few ports. The first troubleshooting step, I ran out of the network switch ports. You guys see that? The switch doesn't have enough ports. Oh no, only 4 ports. So what I will do is, I will power down my switch. You don't have to do it. Yours have latest packet tracer version. So grab a 24 port switch. So I'm powered it down and adding more ports. I don't want this. This is a serial port. See, I'm removing it. So I'm increasing the capacity of my switch ports. I need more than this. In your world, just grab a 24 port switch port if you think this is too difficult of a work. Again, this is something a 2-year-old can do. If you can play Temple Run on your mobile phone, this is very easier than Temple Run. All right, I increase the capacity on my switch. You see, the device is rebooting here. It was showing rebooting here. So meanwhile, as it reboots, switch. You see, you see that 2960 switch. You can grab 2960 switch for your lab. See how many ports are there? How many ports are there? This is 2960 24 TT switch. It is no longer produced. Okay, this is like your RTC red bus from 80s, 90s. You guys following, right? This is like MiG-21 Bison. That's Indian Air Force still fires, but you can still use it for the lab. If you go on eBay and say, I want to buy a 2960 switch, it will be $100. So 10 of you buy it and prepare it for CCNP exam. If you want to get internship, that is the investment you need to make. That's what I did when I was a master student. All right, now we have more ports and I'm connecting it to it, okay? Oh no, it's red color. What does red color means? It's down. It's down. It means it's down. All right, before it's down, I'm a guy who likes to, make everything labeled properly. IP address. What is the IP address of DHCP server? 10.3.27.2. Okay. So this DHCP server, the 27 IP address belongs to Mr. Ramu DHCP server. Okay. So this is Ramu PC1. This is Ramu PC2. Ramu PC3. Okay, so this is your leasing office, guys, and also called layer 3 device. The wires are layer 1, the switch is layer 2. This is your leasing office. This is where you configure gateway in the leasing office, because everybody goes to leasing office. But the lease is provided by leasing officer who sits inside DHCP server, okay? So 10.3.27.1, okay, /24. Remember the /24, otherwise it do not understand, okay? So /24 consists of how many ones? 24 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 0 0 0 0 0. How many ones are there? 24. So I want to convert into decimal. 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot 0. So subnet mask. Remember how I told you? It doesn't understand anything other than binary, right? So we use 255.255 decimal. Why not use binary? It will take forever to type ones and zeros. So you can type in decimal, okay? All right, it's red. You know, if with the traffic lights, if it's red means stop. You cannot send traffic through it. It's red light. So this is your first ever configuration, guys. I moved my cursor over, double clicked it. Okay. I moved my cursor over and I double clicked it. And see, I'm on the device. What does device is missing? It doesn't have any network modules. I don't care. I only need switch ports. Sorry, router ports. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, let me zoom in. See, it's empty. I don't worry, but it has network ports for me to connect, which we connected, right? There is a config, okay? So don't go here and config manually, okay? Never go here and config manually, please. Because in real world, you cannot do this. You can use this to understand what's in here, what are the routing, what switching is, what the algorithm means, what is settings means. In real world, you will not have this. In real world, you will have NVRAM, non-volatile RAM, random access memory. So this is memory. This is where you save all of your configuration in the real world too, okay? So it will be in the real world, my routers have 80 GB to 256 GB of memory, okay? So I did not configure this. I don't know how did it come up with this, okay? So this router, where did I go? Physical config CLI. Everybody write down your notes. CLI stands for command line interface. You need to write it on your notes. I will ask you in the exam, next exam. See, I'm powering it down and powering it on. Powering it down and powering it on. Let it power on. I want to show you how it looks like when it powered on. Okay, out of the box. This is how it looks. You would like to enter initial configuration dialog? No, because I don't want to configure any dialog, or I don't want to do. I want you to make sure how to configure it in the standard way. You see there is a bracket next to the router. It tells two things. It's router. Of course it is router. And it also tells the bracket. The bracket is you are in not in enable mode yet. So you need to type enable, enable. See, what did I type? enable. That's your first command on CLI on the router. You need to select no initially, okay? What I'm telling it is I'm enabling and entering the enable mode. So from enable mode, I can verify what is the status of the interface. See here, there are interfaces here. SH stands for show. You can hit type show, or you can just put show. See, just type SH and hit tab. It will prompt show. And then hit space. Show, interface, hit tab, interface. Space is automatically added. Status. Okay, it's not working. So interface status actually works on a real router. This is a simulator, not all commands work. So I use the different command, show I space IP space interface space brief. Show space IP space interface brief. It is telling me that my status is down, protocol is down. My status is down, protocol is down. Okay. So it is down. So I need to make it up, up, up. Why I need to make it up, up, up? Because it's red, it is down. How do I know which interface is down? I slowly move my cursor. See, gig 0 by 0 is down. Again, which interface? Gig 0 by down, Ethernet 6.1 is down, but I am not worried about switch. That's a layer 2 switch. I'm worried about my router, gig 00. So it is in shutdown status. What is the opposite of shutdown? No shutdown, right? So which interface I need to go? Again, which interface is down? 0 by 0, yes. Interface tab gig 0 by 0. So some students will type like this. Interface like gig, they will type 0 and they'll give space. It will not take it. It will say, and they'll say, sir, my lab is not working. Invalid input. So that's where I stuck. And they will close their laptop and they will not do project anymore. You guys following, right? You shouldn't do that. That's troubleshooting. You need to submit me the troubleshooting step, okay? So interface space gigabit Ethernet space 0/0. So the space should be accurate. The command should be accurate. If you miss any of it by a line or a typo, it will not be forgiving. It will say invalid input. And also, look at here. They will do interface gig 0 by 0 in enable mode. And it will say invalid. They say, sir, I tried everything. You need to go to conf space T and then enter interface mode, gig 0 by 0. See, this is interface mode. So you have to be in the right mode. You guys following, right? You can't sit in the bus stand and say, why my bus stand is not moving. The bus stop is a stop, it doesn't move. So same, if you apply the interface gig 00 on a bus stop and are expecting the command to go through, it won't work. You have to be in the config mode. And then in the config mode, you cannot say just no shut. You have to be in interface mode. There is a mode for everything. No shutdown. See that? It says that change state to up. So I'm going out. How do you end a movie? Say end. I ended the movie. Show IP space interspace brief. Did it go up or not now? See? Earlier it was down. Simple thing. So something is down, we made it up by doing no shut. Light is down, the light is switched off, you switch it on. So we switched it on by going into config mode. First you have to go to enable mode, then config mode, and then interface mode. Then they apply interface gig 0. And in the interface gig 0, you do no space shut. If you miss any of the sequence, you will not be able to turn it on. And again, I'm recording all these steps, okay? Even if my recording don't go through, don't say you did not send recording. There is a guide as well on the project status 2. There's a guide. Even if guide is not there, see, no student has been given guide or recording previously, okay? There are so many video tutorials. Even I have my own video tutorials on YouTube. I will probably share one of it to you, okay? But don't spam it. Write space memory. What does write space memory means? Write memory. You're writing everything into your memory on your NVRAM. Like you have a RAM, you have a SD card. Sorry, not if you have the storage capacitors in your right that stores memory. So the same way as my router has storage capacitors that store all this data. Okay, but one thing, remember, we are not done configuring it. Remember, this is our leasing office. We have to configure the gateway IP. Right? It's static reservation. No one will give our router its gateway IP. So you have to manually configure. So where is all my lease, my apartment tenants are looking at? They're all pointing to this interface, right? This interface is again gig 0 by 0. See, this interface is so gig 0 by 0 is where I need to configure my gateway. Okay. Look at here. Look the subnet mask. Look the IP address. Okay. So again, which mode I have to go? Config mode. Conf T. Again, I have to configure in the interface. So which mode I have to go? interface gig 0 by the way. It will go to interface mode. See, config interface. So this is how you assign IP address on a network router interface. This is for Cisco routers. If you are using Juniper router, it's a different command. Just like how that lady was using a MacBook, it's a different command for NSLookup. If you are using a Brocade router, it's a different command. Okay, this is not a universal command. And everything here is Unix operating system. This is Cisco iOS. You all participate in the discussion. The underlying kernel is Unix, open source. But the Cisco iOS is not open source. You have to buy license. You guys following, right? So a student in the module 4 will run to me saying, sir, I'm not good at programming. The code is not working. This is not a program. This is the operating system. This is Unix command line interface. This is command-based operating system. This is not a programming code, which tells me the fact that that person does not understand the difference between a programming core algorithm and also Unix CLI. Okay, IP space address. What is the IP address for Mr. Ramu? 10.3.27.1 space 255 dot. Again, I use /25, so 24. So how many ones? 24 ones. I can't type ones, so I need to type decimal. So I'm followed by network address. How do you know which portion is host, which portion is network? You need to always give subnet mask. 0, right? So people will say, sir, I don't understand the subnet mask. Why are you giving it? What is this address? Again, 10.3.27.0/24. That's subnet mask. Very good. This is called subnet mask. So it's like you gave a ticket to Delhi. Is it Louisiana? Is it India? This portion will tell it's Louisiana or India or something like that. Okay. No shut. And again, write mem. You can say, sir, you're confident in 2-3 different things. You can do write mem at the end of the day. Why are you giving that many times write mem? Because you're working on it, write mem, okay? Suddenly the router lost power, okay? And also make sure you save the file. And I'm saving it as CS553 project file, okay? Now, what should I do with that file? I'm keep on saving it, right? I have to back it up. OneDrive, Outlook email, and Google Cloud. 3 places and pen drive. Why? Student in the last class itself, like before term 1, she walked to me saying her GUI is no longer working. Her Windows crashed. She can power it on. She can see the power on screen, but her cursor is not moving. She says, my files are inside the laptop, sir. I told her, you have to redo it again. Why did not save it? Why did not back it up? So save it on OneDrive. You guys following? There is OneDrive on your PC. Open OneDrive. How do you log into OneDrive? Using Raghuveer. So when I'm saving, right, file, save as, save in OneDrive folder. What happens? A meteorite crashed onto your laptop, but OneDrive still is refreshing your memory. So the moment the meteorite crashes, right, you still have your file intact somewhere in the Microsoft data center. You guys following, right? All your project file, not for this class, save them in OneDrive, because OneDrive is connected to internet. So some guy poured water on it, your laptop, because he was drunk. It happened, true story. One guy was drunk, he poured laptop on student's laptop. He saw it in OneDrive. He's safe. You guys following, right? Some guy said that my laptop is stolen. Did he stole your OneDrive account as well? No. Show me your OneDrive account. That's how you do it. You are so you're engineers. So if you're not backing your OneDrive account, you are in serious trouble. All your project working files, working documents, save in OneDrive file. How many of you never logged into your Raghuveer OneDrive? Yeah, all of you I know, except for 1 or 2. Because you are paying for it. It's not free. It's part of your fee. VDI. It's part of free. And don't reach out to IT service that's saying, I want to install packet tracer, because it's in your VDI. It is already installed in your CS computer science VDI. You guys following, right? All of you, computer science VDI. I need to update. I told in the first class, but okay. Okay. See, I did no shut again. You say, sir, why did you do no shut again? You did just like 2 steps ago. Because I have OCD. I want to do no shut as many times. I will do right memory as many times. Because you will understand. Students will not do it. They're lazy. So you have to do it. Okay, so our gateway is configured. There is one more static address we need to configure. That is dhcp. Okay. So look at here, config now services desktop. Okay. So how do we, so I went to the desktop and server. Look here, there is no CLI on the server. I've seen a lot of students, you will also do this mistake. I tell them, go to any device, show me CLI on the device. One student, she went directly to the server and she tried to find CLI here. This is not a command line interface. Why? Because your desktop server is manufactured by Microsoft. It is not a Cisco router. You guys following, right? CLI is on a router or a switch, like a brocade router, like a Juniper router. This desktop is, let us assume it's a Microsoft service, MS Office 2012, something like that. How do you change IP address? Which icon will you choose to change IP address? IP configuration. Is it static or DHCP? Because this is server. Static. Because no one gives DHCP to DHCP. You guys following, right? You won't name your parents, right? Your parents can only name you. Unless you're, I mean, it's kind of some kind of culture, okay? So IPv4 address. What is my DHCP address? I don't know. That's why I go to refer to my nodes. You guys forgot, right? So the nodes 10.3.27.2. 3.27.2. Default gateway. Okay, you see here 10.27.2, the subnet mask we are using was /24. I hit enter. Why is it giving me slash a subnet mask? Okay, 10 dot belongs to which private address? So our laptop, our software is assuming that this guy entered a 10 dot class A network. Let's save him time, assign him class A. But remember, I am using class A private address, but I'm not using the first 2 octets for allocating host. I'm only using the last octet. So I will make all ones and make only last octet 0. You can say, sir, why you're confusing us? Why don't you just select class C and call it a day? You will not understand this difference. That is the aim, that I choose a class A with a class C subnet. Remember that guy was asking why my subnet mask, why my gateway is 208 instead of 213. That is because it is /16 subnet mask. So his host address also goes into this portion. That is why. Yeah, you will understand fully that in the next class. So don't overheat your brain, okay? 10.3 dot gateway, 27 dot default gateway. 1. See, it says invalid gateway address because I did not finish it. 10.3.27.1. Always keep that, guys. Go there, take a big A4 size book, okay? And stick it to your somewhere over there. If you use a sticky on your desktop, is there a sticky? If you are using Windows, I don't know the Mac guys. The Mac is a great laptop, but it's great for multimedia, Flash, for video editing and all that. When it comes to office assignments or even for enterprise networks or a lot of their work applications, you need to buy a very expensive license. Why? Because it takes more of a program development to develop a Mac application than Windows. You guys following, right? It's not like there are abundant iOS. So Mac addresses are not used by all of the population. So don't buy the Mac if you are an engineer. Buy a Mac if you are a MBA, if you are a multimedia, if you are a marketing guy. Don't buy Mac if you are a computer science guy. Okay. You can buy, but buy a Windows 2. 3.27.5. You can ask why you're entering DNS server. I mean, I am very lazy. You don't need to enter this here until you start the DNS lab. Okay. So I'm just entering it for the future reservation. Okay. So I enter in the static. So I'll go to the config and see if it is populated here or not. I did not configure this. Okay. I only configured it on IP configuration here. Forget about IPv6. Forget about 802.1x security. In a real world, you use a security protocol because you don't want someone hacker connect to a data center switch port and sniff the traffic. You see that in movies, right? He will immediately connect to the network switch port and do the hacking. In real world, it doesn't work. It will work in the real world if you leave this security option unselected. But this is not a enterprise network or a customer network, right? This is just a class. So security is essential if you're going and working in a real world, okay? So just come to desktop and IP configuration, okay, guys? So next thing is we gave gateway. Leasing office is ready. And the leasing agent onboarding is ready. This is our leasing agent. Let's make sure our leasing agent is in the leasing office. What I want to make sure is this is configured properly or not. I went to command prompt and I'm pinging gateway 10.3.27.1. It's like hello, hello. Ping is nothing but hello. Did I get a response? I did. So that means our leasing agent is fully onboarded. Okay. So leasing agent is on duty, is reported. And we made sure he's able to reach the leasing office by pinging. Okay. Now what should I do? I've been talking for 15 minutes now. I will save it. I don't have to go all the way. Alt Fs, Alt Fs, Alt Fs, Alt Fs. Save it 200 times, guys. And save the file where? Which folder? And OneDrive account? Raghuveer, yeah. And as well as in your Outlook too. Because some guy, I'm not blaming anybody. So some guy got a GA in IT department, one of you. And he's doing a maintenance change on Sunday. He accidentally deleted all OneDrive contents. You lose it. So you have to back up into your Outlook, into your Google Cloud too. Okay, do that. Okay, guys. So yeah, prevention is better than cure. Okay, so our leasing office is ready. .1, .2, our leasing agent is ready. But what is the purpose of our leasing agent? To provide lease to tenants. You're all occupying the apartments now, right? But he or she needs to provide lease, right? So which service should you create for this leasing agent? HTTP stands for web. DHCP, TFTP, DNS, syslog, AAA, no. This is what server? DHCP. So we need to provide DHCP service, okay? So service is off. Do I need service? Yes, right? So I need to make it on. Pool name, keep it the pool name. There are not like, see, there is only one apartment complex, okay? There are not like 20 apartment complex. So do not tweak the pool. Some people go fancy and change it to say royal pool, okay? Extravaganza pool. Don't do that. Don't show your creativity in changing the names on the server pool unless you understand it. What's the default gateway? 10.3.27.1. So for Pai Kumar Gade, for you it will be 10.3.7.1. Okay. For Sahiti, what's your gateway? 10.3.22.1. Okay. Don't configure same IP. It's considered copy. Okay. DNS server, again, I'm lazy. You don't have to fill it, but fill it. But who will come back? .5. This is where you need to all pay attention, guys. Everyone must look at the board now. Leasing agent is starting leasing apartment. What is the first apartment number you should start leasing? Okay, I don't know. So I'm going here. Our network is 10 dot. Okay, let me open in Word or Paint. Okay, my network is, okay, 10.3.27.0, right? Slash 24. So the first host is what? 10.3.27.1. Is it reserved? I already provided this to gateway. Next one, 10.3.27.2. Is it, yeah, dhcp, right? This is dhcp. Next is 3, email, 4, web, whatever, 5, DNS, okay? Oh, okay, so there are so many static, and then he will think, okay, I will start giving leads from 6. But in future, there might be more leasing agents. There might be more email servers. Who knows? Raghuveer has only 100 students in the spring of 2023. How many students now? How many? 900. So see, my IP address will not stand even 1 year. Your configuration should stand 5 years. You guys following, right? So I will leave first 11, okay, 10 static for future, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will say future, someone will come, so let's leave. I will say let's start leasing from 11, okay. So that's what I'm doing it here. My first apartment lease, apartment unit number will be 11. And it says maximum number of users. It says 512. Should I leave 512 here? Let's go back. What is the network size here? /24. So only the last octet can be used. How many maximum users you can put? 2 power? Yeah, 2 power 8. 256. So -1, 255, -1, 254. All .0 you cannot use, and 1 you cannot use. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 also you cannot use. So subtract 255 minus 11. 244. You know, I'm very bad at math, so I'm very careful. I don't want to overspill. I will just put 240. I'm lazy. Lazy man, you know, lazy people always find easy solution, right? So this is how you need to show how lazy you are, not by not doing assignments, okay? So I'm bad at math. So why should I go over the edge? 241, 244, 243. I will just put 240. You know what? I will just do 200. You're not going to add 200 people anyway. When in doubt, just reduce the number, okay? TFTP server, wireless LAN controller address, you don't need to fill. That's out of syllabus, okay? So my gateway is 1. Again, make sure the server pool, not royal pool. One guy did it, royal pool, extravaganza pool, he did it. He used royal wherever required. Yeah, it's very funny. And I will explain where else he did mistakes. So sometimes the mistakes are interesting, right? So it's others to learn. So we will make that guy scapegoat and we will learn from his mistakes. Default gateway is 1. DNS server is 5. Starting address is .11. I will ask in the exam why it is .11. Because why it is .11? Because first 10 addresses we are using for the staff and the gateway and all that. So this is all, okay? So what should I do? We've been doing this for 10 minutes. What should I do? Alt Fs, save. This is when lightning hit one time. His laptop was connected to the switchboard. The lightning extra power went through the circuit. It doesn't have a circuit breaker. It burnt his motherboard on the laptop. Student walked in. Sir, I survived a lightning strike. I see that. But my laptop did not. I see that. Give me free grade. No. I asked him to open OneDrive. He said I didn't backups. You're following me, right? That happens. Yeah. So even if Thor used this hammer and destroyed your laptop, you're still supposed to show the file. Okay, our Ramu, 3 brothers are waiting here. They're waiting for the lease. So they don't know how to configure static. Ramu's 3 brothers doesn't know how to configure static. Okay, Ramu? So what should they do? They should go to desktop, IP. Our clever brothers, I will ask them, is your DHCP working? I will scroll over my PC, right? You know what they do? They will type the IP address here to make it look like it's working. It should select DHCP. It's requesting IP address. DHCP request successful and it got IP address. Did I assign it? You guys following, right? How they cheat? They configure static IP address because they tried everything, it is not working. And they will show me that IP address, they will hover over here and it will have a IP address. So I will verify it and okay, it has a .11 address, very good. And then I'll say you passed. But in fact, they are manually configuring it. They did not configure DHCP. That's the shortcuts they take. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. It's very easy to catch. So how do I know it's working? I will ping my leasing office. So close this, go to command prompt, my gateway, I will ping, say hello. I will say hello to my gateway, 23.27. Am I getting reply? Yeah, so that's how you test it. Make sure you always ping it. Now again, my Ramu's second brother is waiting. Is it static? No, DHCP. Requesting IP address, DORA process, request offer. That is what it's doing. It's asking this PC is asking mom, I'm hungry, requesting for food. And then offer, successful. You go there and ping it. Okay, DHCP Ramu's third PC. Desktop, IP, DHCP, request, offer, assign. See how it happened so fast. You ping it and file, save. Okay, DHCP is done. So now you know the difference between DHCP and static. You go to your assignment 1, rewrite all the DHCP answers using what you discussed in the lab. Some of you presented very high level answer. I don't require it. Do not have to copy. I want to see your mistakes there. You guys following, right? So a lot of you copy pasted from the internet. A lot of you use the AI. The English, the grammar style that you used in your email doesn't match with the language. Don't want me to take you one-to-one assignment and do the language test. There is no harm in submitting wrong assignments, like bad grammar, bad English. When you type write an assignment, some of you copy pasted from a website that is using LaTeX format. My Canvas doesn't support LaTeX format. How you guys know how to do a LaTeX format? You need to use a LaTeX overleaf editor. Then how you're submitting in LaTeX format? Because you copy pasted output of AI that delivers in LaTeX format. I caught it. You will be in serious trouble. You have to type every single word, every single sentence in your own English. Directly went to the website and copy pasted the paraphrasing and pasted. No. Beautiful formatting that you didn't do it. It's a crime. Copy pasting is a crime. Using AI tool is a crime. Paraphrasing is a crime. You will never learn unless you frame the answers using your own English. Develop a writing style. You're following, right? I asked you to bowl and you brought a bowling machine dressed as you. It's very easy to catch because it's too perfect. You guys following, right? I'm looking for imperfections. The only way to learn is to make mistakes, guys. So don't do that because other instructors will not be easy on you. They're not this forgiving, okay? So you can write in your own language and get negative marks for poor English, okay? Don't do that. All right. So I will stop sharing and I will end this. You know what? I will do cancel. Let me stop recording. Yeah, you want to stop recording the cloud? Yes.